I want to put this information out there for those of you that are receiving drill pay and VA disability pay at roughly the same time. So as I've discussed in other videos, if you are in the reserves or in the National Guard, you can actually collect VA disability while still being a participating member in the Guard or Reserve. But you just can't collect them on the same day. And here's what I mean by that. In a perfect world, every time you go to drill, the VA turns off your VA disability pay for just that one day and then turns it back on when you're back in a non-drilling status. So what that would look like is that if you go on active duty orders for deployment or mobilization, the VA is going to turn it off for that duration of the orders and then turn it back on when you return. Obviously, it's not a perfect system, but if you're a reservist now or National Guardsman now, you may have noticed at the end of the year, you get a letter from the VA asking you to confirm the number of days that you've drilled in that particular year because they want to know how to establish a debt or what you're waiving and who you're going to pay back, etc., because you can't collect VA disability for the same day as you collected a drill pay or active duty pay, right? Here's the easy way to do it. First thing you got to do is you got to figure out how much VA disability pay you're getting on a day-by-day basis, which is a little bit unusual because we know VA doesn't pay for partial months, but for this exercise, we got to do it. So let's say you're an E5 with a 50% VA disability rating who's been in the military for 10 years for purposes of pay, right? So they're on the pay table as E5 over 10. They have to figure out what their daily VA disability pay is. And if they are rated at 50%, they're receiving approximately, let's call it $12,200 a year. $12,200 per year divided by 365 is about $33.42 a year. Let's call it $33.42 for short. The next thing we got to do is figure out what this E5 with over 10 years is getting paid on a daily basis per drill period in the reserves. E5 with 10 years in is getting approximately $141.15 per drill period. Now, $141.15 is more than $33.73. The veteran should probably consider waiving the VA disability pay. And when they get that letter at the end of the year, they should, instead of saying, yeah, I'm going to waive my drill pay, I'll waive my VA disability pay for the last year. Now, the VA will create a debt, and they can either pay that debt right away, which I personally don't do, and a lot of veterans don't do because it's just an interest-free loan at that point, and they can let that debt accrue as they continue to serve in the reserves and then pay it back down the road with future dollars, and that's fine. But that's ultimately your choice. I'm not your financial advisor. So in order to figure out what you should do as to whether or not you should waive your active duty pay / drill pay versus your VA disability pay, you need to figure out what your daily rate is for your VA disability pay is, and to figure out what your daily per drill pay day is on the Reserve National Guard side, and then compare those two. Whichever one's less, that's the one you want to waive. For the majority of people, they make more money in the reserves on a daily basis than they do from the VA on a daily basis. So it makes sense to waive the VA pay in the overwhelming number of times. Every situation's different. Not everybody's the same. If you're in the reserves, National Guard, you get hurt on a drill weekend, definitely try to get that line of duty. If not, get buddy letters or some sort of statements, save your drill calendars to show that you were on orders that day when you get hurt. If you're a reservist, or even if you were active duty and you've been denied your VA disability claim, reach out to us. Let's see if we can help you. In any event, until next time, take care.